Stav Yom Yerushalmi Demai. We are on Daf Ayin Aleph Amrav at the Mishnah Chavav in the article as well, and Lamed Beis Amid Beis in the Vilna at the top Chavav. That's Nisin. How you in front of him? Steak close to Tevel. But he had in front of him two containers of Tevel, 1 and 2. Well, said, "Meiser shel zu bezu, v'shel zu bezu." Meiser of 1 should be in 2, and 2 should be in 1. The Sherma says the first one's a Meiser because at that point the two, both of them are still Tevel. So one's Meisers can be in 2, but when he says 2 and 1, that doesn't work because 1 is Rabin Meiser, so it's Potter. So you can't be Meiser from that which is Potter and that which is Chayiv. But you can consolidate the Lashonis, and that will work. Masroseh Meiser Kakol B'Chaverta said the Meiser should be one, both in each other. So you didn't ever separate the 1 and 2. They always came together. Koroshem, that's effective. Okay, now the Tani Allah, the Gemara says, "Notam min hashniya shtei teinim u'shnei yisurim." Take from the two, the second one, the second basket. In the case where the first case, the Mishnah, where where you tempt them through 1 and 2 and 2 and 1, but the 2 and 1 didn't work. So now, what do you have to take off 2? For itself and for the other basket, right? So, Noitim and Hashem take from the second one 2 Tainim. Those 2 Tainim are, we're assuming we're doing 100, right? 100 in the first one, 100 in the second one. So you take 2 Tainim, those correspond to Chumas Meiser. That's going to have to give to a, not that Chumas not part of this, it could be because it's Demai, and therefore the Amayards took off Chumas. Chaim says because the Chumas were taken off, used an earlier process, when they made a goren, when they put this, made a pile out of this, out of the whatever commodity we're dealing with here with figs. But in any event, we're not dealing with truma. So you take off 2 tainim and shnei yisurim. You have to take off two yisurim. Now 2 yisurim means you have to take off really 4. You have to take off meiser rishon twice for itself and for the for itself number 2 and for number 1, and the surah shel iser and the trumas meiser which you took, the 2 figs, they are the iser of the iser, the 10th of the 10th, in order that now you should have what to give to the Kohen. So you have 2 isurim and the 10th of the 10th, meaning 2 figs, 1 for each container, are trumas meiser. Shmuel Amar Lo Matzeit Nisa. He said you can't say this right. It's not precise. Not. It has to be changed or has to be interpreted. Why? So in Yisav Chadal Eser Tzarch Meisav. I'm going to go with the Groz, Machine Yisos and Baz and Chaim. Everybody changed the Yisos here. In Yisav Chadal Eser, if you take 1 for 10. Tzarch Lemeisav Chada Lemea. You have to take still 1 for 100. In Yisav Chada Lemea, if you take 1 for 100, Tzarch Meisav Chada Le'elef. You have to take 1 for 1,000. Yisav Chada Le'elef, you take 1 for 1,000. Meisav Chada La'asar Elefim. You have to still take 1 for 10,000. Oh, this is a very interesting mathematical issue. So, what's the issue here? It says, so you took 10 out of the 100 to potter the 100 in container 1, right? But there's a problem because it doesn't work that way. Out of 100, you take 10, and then you're left with 90. But here, you're taking on the total, on the complete 100, because you're not taking anything off the first container, everything in the second container. So again, in a normal situation, you take 10 out of 100, and you're left with 90, right? Here, I have a full 100 I have to take off, because I'm not taking anything off from that 100, taking everything off from the second container. So how do I get to that extra 10 meiser? So, okay, so you take 1 more, right? You say, okay, so it's really now 11, right? Because you take for 90 you take 10, and for the 10 you take 11. But that's an 11th one, another one. But that's again a problem. Why? Because again, the problem just shrinks, but it's the same problem. On 10, you take off one, and then you're left with 9. But here, you have an entire 10. So you have to take off 1, which would be you take off if you take off from the first container itself, and you have to take off an additional amount in order to fix that 1 which you left there. Because again, when you have 10 and you take 1 out of the 10, the other 9 are fixed. But here you need to fix the entire 10. So you have to add them another 1/10. Okay, so, and this is ad infinitum. The Gemara stops after 1 out of 10,000 because by that time we're dealing with infinitesimal amounts and it doesn't count. So again, let's see what Shmuel says. Shmuel, in Yisef Chada Leser, if you take 1 out of every 10, right? Sarach Mesav Chada Rameh, you still have to take an additional 1 in order to make it up from 90 to 100. In Yasu Chada Rameh, if you take up that additional 1, Sarach Mesav Chada Lelef. But you still need to take off, again, for that problem, just get the same problem, it just gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Right? You're always going to be, you're always taking off from the Kalkola Shniya and the Kalkola Rishona, and therefore you're always taking off not out of 100, but on 100. Not out of 10, but on 10. Not out of 1, but on 1. Therefore, you're always going to have to add a little bit more. So you're always going to have this problem until it gets down to infinitesimal proportions. Okay, now we have a new issue. Rabbi Yisrael Chanina. Yisrael said, Al Rishona over Abasei. This is going on the case where we said the first one is Meiser, and on the first one you're over on a mitzvah saseh. Why is that? Because the Meiser Rishon has Trumas Meiser, which is called Reishis, which means that the Meiser Rishon also has to come before Meiser Sheni. Because the Trumas Meiser in Meiser Rishon has come before Meiser Sheni. And he said, Meiser Shel Zu Bezu, he made all the Meisers take place at once. In order to consolidate, he made all the Meisers take place at once. So he's supposed to take off Meiser Rishon first. He didn't. So he's about to say, I'm taking on Meiser Rishon first. Balashnia over Basei Velo Tasei. But on the second one, you're over on a Sei Velo Tasei, because basically the second one wasn't Meiser at all, right? You thought it was not effective, saying that 2 should be Meiser through 1. So therefore you have to take its own Meisers, and so it comes out that you're taking the Meiser Rishon took for 1 precedes the Meiser Rishon that you're taking off on itself, and then so the that's just a second. Sorry, I was interrupted there. Let's so let me go back to Amray B'Sechanina. On the first container over an assay, on the second container over assay below assay. Why? So the assay is mitzvah say is the what's mitzvah say again? Oh yeah, the Trumas Meiser has to come because it's called Reishis. So Trumas Meiser, Meiser Rishon, Trumas Meiser has to come before the Meiser Sheni. So if you do it simultaneously, Basachas, so then Meiser Rishon, Meiser Sheni simultaneously. So then you're about to say putting the Meiser Rishon first. Now there's a law also, which means that you should not do Meiser Sheni before Meiser Rishon, and that's a law. Okay, the assay is to do my. There's assay do Meiser Rishon for Meiser Sheni because of Trumas Meiser, and that you're being avato if you're doing it simultaneously. But you didn't make it later. But if you do the Meiser Sheni, the Meiser Rishon after Meiser Sheni, when you do the Meiser Rishon later, so then you're mevatel then you're over love. So there's the chiddush in this case though is the big chiddush that how am I doing Meiser Sheni for Meiser Rishon? It's because I'm doing the Meiser Sheni in container 1 before the Meiser Sheni in container 2. I'm sorry, before before Meiser Rishon container 2. So I'm being over is only because of the juxtaposition I made artificially by my statement. It's because I linked them to each other. So therefore, in that statement, brought upon myself a lav which I didn't have to be over there. I'm only over the lav because I linked them to two, and therefore, since I make the Meiser Sheni of the first one before the Meiser Rishon of the second one, I'm over Meleas Chavadim Achol Sacher. Okay, so let's see the slide now. Our Rishon over Basei, and the container one over Basei, Shekavash Shnei Shemos Kechon, because you made the Meiser Rishon, Meiser Sheni simultaneously. You said Meisers, right? You didn't say Meiser Rishon then Meiser Sheni. Vashnia Basei Velos Asei, and the second way over Asei Los Asei. Why is that? Shekavu Shnei Shemos Kechon. First of all, you have the same thing, the two Shemos which came together for the first container, but then Ukshehiktim Sheni Shabishina, when you had when you cause the Sheni in the first container, Larisha Mishnah to be effective before the Meiser in the second container, that is considered to be the Lab of Meleas Chavadim Achol Sacher. And that brings us way into Ayin Beis and Aleph. So we'll stop here.